Hello everybody and welcome to the video. I know what you're thinking, not another talking head video. Where's the good stuff from out the trails? It's coming, don't you worry. But first I thought I'd talk to you about one of the most stupid injuries I've ever had. So let's just go back in time briefly and talk about injuries I've actually had to date, which I consider to be more serious, significant, so on and so forth. I damaged my knee, stepping off a curb funny and kind of just jolted it, and that put me out of the game for a little while back when I was, I guess, first started running. I had another injury where I was putting a lot of pressure on the arch of my foot, and that just required a little bit of physio, and I guess you'd say like losing a toenail or so. That also cost me a little bit of time because it was the first one I'd ever lost, and it was on my big toe, and it just was putting a lot of pressure on things. So there's the three. And then 3 weeks ago I'm doing a run, a local run, and I come home and I think, wow, the bottom of my toe really hurts. So it's the toe that's in from the big toe, and I thought that's really odd. I looked at it and it looked quite purple, almost kind of bruised. I thought, how have I bruised that? That toe, it seems, doesn't actually take much impact when I'm running, I would have thought, not a specialist in it. Now, I haven't got any photos and things. I've assumed that most people have got an aversion to feet who watch this channel rather than a fetish for feet, so forgive me if I made an error there, but no photos are going to be shown, so don't worry about that. But essentially what happened over the course of that week was then that toe became really, really sensitive. I couldn't put any pressure on it at all. I even started to walk on the side of my foot, which was then causing more issues with my hamstring and things like that. And I started to worry that actually what I was going to do is do more damage because I just could not put my feet down flat, or foot down flat rather. It was on just one foot, my right foot. I left it, then I thought I'll ask the doctor. The doctor said to ask the pharmacist. The pharmacist said they didn't know, go back to the doctor. The doctor eventually said to me, what we'll do is we'll give you a cream. I don't actually know what it is. Under that toe, that purple started to kind of develop like a perfectly pure white circle underneath it. So like a circle of purple and inside it a little circle of white. And I thought, oh, what's that? Eventually doing some sort of digging online, I found that it seemed to be what we call a friction blister, which appears under the skin. Now, because it's under the skin and I had this massive pressure build up, there's absolutely nothing I could do. Consequently, of course, I'm not able to really attack it, if you like, because it's not on the surface, underneath the surface. I didn't want to cause any sort of infection. The blister starts to come towards the top. Pressure is released at that point, which made things slightly simpler. But then I'm kind of left with, if you've had a blister before, kind of like almost like a hole, like a hole in your foot. So I'm still keeping that covered up. Of course, of all the placement, if it had been anywhere else, finger, back of the heel, for example, I could have really dealt with it. But because it's in this constant moving part, it just wasn't healing at all. And I don't talk to you about the process necessarily more than that, but we're now at a stage where it has healed. And I can walk again and normally, and I can run again. So I ran the other day for the first time, just a little 3.5k, hoping to get back. But it's really frustrating because I started thinking to myself, of all the injuries to have, this seems to be the most utterly pointless injury. I've got no idea where it came from. I was wearing the same shoes, the same socks. I was running on flat terrain. It was dry weather. Like, there's literally no factors that could have come into play. It's not like I was trail running in the mud, in the dirt, in the wet, and you could sort of say, well, maybe some grit. There's nothing. So anyway, I thought I'd just share that with you in case you were thinking, where have I been? And I thought, well, it's only fair to let you know where I've been and what I've been up to. Basically nursing a toe. And it's, put me out of the game for 3 weeks. But I genuinely, I had gone out a couple of times over that 3 weeks. I got literally 100 metres, 200 metres, but it was almost like a pinprick. So as every time I put my toe down, this like shooting pain, and you can't run on that, and I wasn't prepared to, like I say, adjust the way that I was running to put more pressure and tension on different parts of my foot, because actually what I thought would happen was I'll probably actually give myself a strain in some part of my leg, which will probably take a bit longer to heal from, or some sort of issue requiring more sort of physio and recovery. So anyway, there it is. So I'll be back on your screen shortly with some more interesting running content. I did miss out on 2 races because of it, which I had planned to enter on the day, but sure enough, these things do come to us as runners and we have to get past. But one thing I did learn from it all was that actually I really genuinely miss running, And if I hadn't, I would have been thinking to myself, there we go, a light relief, and maybe running's not for me. But I was really gutted when it happened, and I wanted to get back. So that gave me actually more drive and motivation, and almost like a confidence boost that I do actually still enjoy running. So thank you for checking this video out. Sorry again if you wanted photos and didn't have any. You can message me privately if that's your thing. But otherwise, I'll see you in the next video for some fun out on the trails.